Have you ever worked incredibly hard for something? Maybe a promotion you spent years chasing, or that brand new car sitting in the driveway, only to finally get it, hold the keys in your hand, and feel nothing. Or maybe, even worse than nothing, you felt a creeping sense of anxiety. It's a strange, hollow feeling. In American culture, we have names for the rat race that leads us there. We talk about keeping up with the Joneses or running on the hedonic treadmill. We tell ourselves that if we just run a little faster or buy a slightly bigger house, the feeling of satisfaction will finally stick.
But it rarely does. Think about the specific pain of scrolling through Instagram on a Tuesday night. You see a photo of a friend, or maybe a complete stranger, on a vacation in the Amalfi Coast. The water is perfect, the pasta looks incredible, and suddenly your own life, which felt perfectly fine 5 minutes ago, seems completely inadequate. You don't just want the pasta, you want their life. You want the sense of being that they project.
If you have felt this, I want you to know something important. You are not crazy, and you are not alone. This feeling isn't a personal failure. It is a hidden psychological mechanism that runs beneath the surface of almost every decision we make. That emptiness you feel when you reach a milestone, that sudden pang of envy when you look at someone else's feed. These are symptoms. They are symptoms of a specific disease of desire that most of us don't even know we have. And in this series, we are going to cure it. Up next, we're going to peel back the layers of this mechanism and look at the romantic lie we've all been told about where our desires actually come from. Welcome to The Last Read. Books for your ears, wisdom for your life. Today, we are dissecting a book that serves as a skeleton key for understanding the modern human condition. Wanting by Luke Burgis. Now, we like to think we are the captains of our own ships. We cherish the idea that our desires are authentic, arising from deep within our own souls or our unique biological makeup. But in this series, we are going to uncover an invisible force, a hidden gravity that pulls on the tides of your life without you even noticing.
Luke Burgis argues that this force controls perhaps 90% of the decisions you make. It is not just a philosophical concept, it is the secret algorithm that Silicon Valley giants use to manipulate your attention and keep you scrolling. It creates the reality distortion field that makes you buy things you don't need, and strangely enough, it is the exact same force that causes the petty conflicts in your office and the deep polarizing rifts in our families and our politics. We are going to hand you the tools to spot this mechanism, and more importantly, to opt out of it. So if you want to break free from the cycle of endless chasing, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss the rest of this deep dive. And of course, if you want to go straight to the source, the link to buy Wanting is waiting for you in the description. But before we can cure the disease, we have to diagnose the patient. We have to challenge the story you tell yourself about who you are. So consider this. What if I told you that you have never actually chosen what you want?
To understand why that statement is true, we have to look at the man who brought this uncomfortable truth to the surface, Luke Burgis. Now, it is important to understand that Luke isn't writing from the safety of an ivory tower. He isn't a dusty academic theorizing about how the world works from behind a mahogany desk. Luke Burgis was in the trenches. He started his career on Wall Street, hated it, and headed west to California to chase the modern gold rush in the startup world. And by all traditional metrics, he crushed it. He founded a company called Fit Fuel. He was doing deals with his appos, and Businessweek even named him one of the top 25 entrepreneurs under 25. He was living the script that every ambitious young person in America is handed: build the company, get the exit, gain the status. But despite checking every box on the list, he felt miserable.
He describes this profound sense of emptiness, a feeling that he was running a race he didn't remember entering, chasing a horizon that kept moving further away. After a major business deal with Tony Hsieh, the late CEO of Zappos, blew up, Luke realized he had to get out. He didn't just take a sabbatical, he completely nuked his previous life. He moved to Italy, he studied theology, he even briefly considered becoming a Catholic priest. He went from the boardrooms of Silicon Valley to reading ancient philosophy in Rome. And that is where he found the key. He stumbled upon the work of a French polymath named René Girard. And for Burgis, this wasn't just dry philosophy. It was the code to the matrix he had been living in. Girard's work explained exactly why he and everyone he knew in the tech world was so obsessed with the same things, why they competed so fiercely for prizes that didn't actually make them happy.
He realized that the game wasn't just rigorous, it was rigged. This is what gives Wanting its edge. It's written by a guy who played the high-stakes game, won, realized the prize was hollow, and then spent years studying human nature to figure out why. He came back to the world not to rejoin the rat race, but to show us how to hack the system. But to accept his diagnosis, we have to confront a very painful reality about ourselves. We have to look in the mirror and challenge the one thing we value most in our culture, our authenticity. We love to tell ourselves a specific story. I bought that car because I love the engineering, or I moved to this city because I love the vibe. But what if that story is actually a lie?
That lie has a name. René Girard called it the romantic lie. And here in the West, especially in the United States, it is perhaps the most seductive myth we have. We are absolutely obsessed with the cult of authenticity. We champion individualism. We grow up hearing, just be yourself, follow your heart, find your own path. We are convinced that our desires spring spontaneously from our own deep, unique souls, like a spring of water bubbling up from the ground. We tell ourselves, I bought this Tesla because I care about the environment and I love the torque. Or I became a lawyer because I have a passion for justice. But Burgis, using Girard's lens, shatters this illusion. He argues that this narrative of total autonomy is just a fairy tale we tell ourselves to feel special. The truth is far less romantic and far more mechanical. We don't desire things in a straight line. It's not just you and the object you want. The geometry of human desire is a triangle.
There is you, the subject. There is the thing you want, the object. But there is a third point in the triangle, the hidden variable that determines everything, the model, the person showing you what to want. We are effectively just grown-up toddlers. If you put two toddlers in a room full of identical toys, and one toddler picks up a specific truck, suddenly the other toddler needs that truck, not because the truck changed, but because the first toddler conferred value upon it. This is mimetic desire. Mimesis, coming from the Greek word for imitation. Think about the last time you were at a bar or a restaurant. You're looking at the menu, totally undecided. Then your friend orders the old-fashioned. Suddenly, that's exactly what you want too. You rationalize it. Oh, I haven't had whiskey in a while. But really, your desire was contagious.
Or look at the phenomenon of the Stanley Cup, those giant tumblers that recently took over the world. Does everyone suddenly have an unquenchable biological need for 40 ounces of ice water? Did the engineering of a travel mug revolutionize hydration? Of course not. People wanted the cup because other people, specifically people they viewed as having high status or a desirable lifestyle, had the cup. And this leads to the most uncomfortable realization in Burgis's book. We don't actually want the object. The object is just a prop. What we really want is the being of the model. We think, if I have that cup, if I drive that car, if I get that job, I will possess the same quality of coolness or success that he has. We are trying to absorb their identity through their stuff.
But there is a massive difference in how this plays out depending on who that model is. Sometimes the person we copy is a distant celebrity, untouchable. But other times, the model is right there in the room with us, and that is where things get dangerous.
Luke Burgis breaks this down into two distinct worlds, and understanding the difference between them is the only way to save your sanity. He calls the first world Celebristan. This corresponds to what René Girard called external mediation. In Celebristan, the models are far away. They are separated from us by a massive barrier, usually fame, extreme wealth, or time. Think of Elon Musk, or a movie star like George Clooney, or even a historical figure. We copy these people all the time. You might buy a leather jacket because you saw it in a movie. You might try to start a business because you admire Steve Jobs. But here is the key. You don't hate them. You don't feel a burning knot of anxiety when you see them succeed. Why? Because you aren't competing with them. If you buy the same sneakers as LeBron James, you don't feel like you have to beat him at basketball. He is in the stratosphere. He is safe to copy. But then there is the second world.
Burgis calls this Freshmanistan. He names it after a freshman class in college. Think about that environment for a second. Everyone arrives on campus day one. Everyone is roughly the same age, the same status. Nobody has a reputation yet. Everyone is technically equal. And that is a recipe for absolute chaos. In Freshmanistan, the models are internal. They are right there inside your world. They are your coworkers, your neighbors, your best friends. And this leads to what Girard called mimetic rivalry. See, when a model is close to us, we don't just want what they have. We start to see them as an obstacle. If your neighbor buys a Porsche, you don't just admire the car. You feel a pang of failure. You feel like you are losing a game you didn't know you were playing. Burgis points out that this is actually the source of almost all work toxicity.
We tend to think people in a company are jealous of the CEO, but usually they aren't. The CEO is in Celebristan. They are too far away. The real war is happening between two mid-level managers who are fighting to the death over a slightly larger office or a specific job title. They tear each other apart because they are peers. They are too close. Because they are in Freshmanistan, they become what Girard calls enemy twins. They are fighting so hard to be different from each other that they become exactly the same, obsessed with the same petty status symbols, fighting for the same scraps. And this constant, anxiety-fueled competition drives us toward a very specific, very dangerous type of goal. We get locked in a cycle of chasing things not because we enjoy them, but just to score a point against our rival. We start accumulating desires that have no actual nutritional value for our souls. Burgis has a name for these empty goals, and once you learn to spot them, you will see them everywhere.
Burgis has a name for these empty goals. He calls them thin desires. And just like the flu or a viral TikTok trend, they are highly contagious. Thin desires are the wants we catch from other people. They don't bubble up from our own core values or our personal history. They float in from the outside. They hit us fast, usually because we see someone else wanting them. But here is the catch. They are incredibly fragile. They have no roots. Think back to the pandemic. Suddenly, it seemed like everyone on the planet needed a Peloton. Not necessarily because everyone suddenly developed a deep, burning passion for stationary cycling at the exact same moment, but because everyone else was doing it. It became a symbol of health, of status, of I have my life together.
Or think about the corporate ladder. You might find yourself chasing a vice president title, not because you love the responsibility or the work, but simply because the title signals to your rivals in Freshmanistan that you won. You want it because they want it. And this leads to a predictable, exhausting cycle. We see, we want, we acquire. And for a moment, we feel a dopamine hit. We scored. But because the desire was thin, because it didn't come from a deep place within us, the satisfaction evaporates almost instantly.
we are left standing there, holding the trophy, wondering why we still feel empty.
So, what do? We look around for the next thin desire to chase. It is a hamster wheel of dissatisfaction. Get the thing, feel disappointed, find a new thing, repeat. I want you to take a second right now. Look mentally into your closet or your garage. Is there something in there? A bread maker, a specific brand of sneakers, a gadget that you bought in a frenzy, used once and now ignore. That is the physical ghost of a thin desire. So, how do we get off the wheel? If thin desires are the disease, we need an antidote. We need to find the desires that don't evaporate, the ones that are immune to the noise of the crowd. Burgis calls these thick desires, and finding them requires a very different approach to life.
Thick desires are the bedrock, the things that are solid, durable, and impossible to fake. Luke Burgis describes them like diamonds formed deep beneath the earth, created through intense pressure and time. Unlike thin desires, which are highly contagious and superficial, thick desires are hard to imitate. They come from deep within us, often forged through suffering, sacrifice, or deep reflection. Think about a happy marriage that has lasted 40 years. You can't just catch that from a neighbor, you have to build it. Or the skill of writing, or the quiet satisfaction of serving your local community. These aren't things you chase because they're trendy. You pursue them because they matter to you. So, how do we find them?
Burgis says we have to become anti-mimetic. Now, don't get me wrong. Being anti-mimetic doesn't mean being a contrarian or a hipster who hates everything popular just because it's popular. That's just another form of imitation. You're still letting the crowd dictate your moves, just in reverse. True anti-mimetic behavior is the ability to pause, to step out of the current, and ask a very difficult question. Would I still want this if no one else could see me have it? If you bought that luxury car, but you could never drive it in public, never post it on Instagram, and no one would ever know you owned it, would you still want it? If the answer is no, that is a thin desire. To find your thick desires, I want you to try the deathbed test. It's a bit morbid, but it clarifies things instantly. Fast forward to the very end of your life. You are lying in bed, looking back. Are you going to care about the job title you had when you were 30? Are you going to smile about the brand of watch you wore? Probably not. You're going to care about the relationships you built, the work that felt meaningful, the legacy you left behind. Those are your thick desires. They are the only things that endure when the noise of the crowd fades away. If you enjoyed this deep dive into human nature, please make sure you subscribe. We have a lot more wisdom to uncover in future episodes. I'll leave you with this final thought. Your desires are the compass of your life. Make sure you are holding the compass, not someone else.